Hey, it's Rod Bergeron here with you once again. And today we're going to look at color photo transfers. All right, so we're going to transfer a color photo onto a board. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap, and it's a lot of fun. So let's get at it. All right, so here's what you're going to need for this project. You're going to need a full Pez dispenser. And this Pez in here is delicious. I'm telling you, this is sugar cookie Pez. Wow, it's awesome. Anyways, I'm going to set that aside. You're going to need a full cup of coffee. You're going to need Weld Bond glue. And I use Weld Bond glue all the time. This stuff is great for just about any kind of project where you need to fasten something down really tight. This is the stuff. There's a link to this, Amazon link to this in the description below, all right? You're gonna need a wood panel. This is an 8x10 wood panel, and I got this at the dollar store for $3. You can't beat it. If you go to an art supply store, you're gonna pay $10, $15, even $20 for one of these. They're pretty expensive. I also have here, this is just a little wooden box that I got for $1.50 at the dollar store. It's got a little magnet in it, keeps it closed and everything. It's pretty good. You're gonna need like a brush, not your best watercolor brush, all right? You're gonna need like a cheap brush that if it gets destroyed, you're not gonna worry about it. And a pencil, pair of scissors, and a color print. These are like 30 cents at Walmart, and I think this is like $1.43, so that's really all you're gonna need. I'm gonna cut out this little one to fit on this box, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm just going to put this over top of the image, whatever part of the image it is that I want to keep, and I'm just going to draw around it with a pencil. And then for this one, I'm just going to pop this plastic off here real quickly. Make sure this is, sometimes these get quite a bit of dust on them, and you'll see they also get some little, they sell them for $3, so they don't take a lot of care and consideration of it. And this is going to go in the middle. You could measure yours. I'm just going to sort of eyeball it and say I'm going to do that and that and that and that. So that gives me my marks where I'm going to put it down. Remember, when you photo transfer, it's the reverse of this. So things like this railway crossing, those are going to be reversed. All right, so this says canal. I took this in New Orleans. So everything's going to be reversed. So if you care about reading those things, you could take your image and reverse it before you do this. You know, you could get onto any photo imaging software and reverse it. And then when you print it, this would all be reversed. And then when you did the photo transfer, it would turn out the right way. But sometimes I like it a little bit sketchy like that. I mean, I really like, you know, that kind of grittiness. So, all right, so here's how we do the photo transfer. Set your board and stuff aside. You don't want to do this in some place where, you know, you don't want to do this on your best kitchen. And then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to set it down on my box. Just like that, all right? And you just want to make sure that it's adhered onto the box. Don't rub it, push it, and scrub it down. You don't want to push the glue out, all right? So the glue that makes contact with it is going to be what the image soaks into, and that's what's going to adhere onto your box or your piece of wood. So you can see it, I didn't push the glue out around the sides. There is a little bit of glue coming out there. You can wipe it off with your finger or damp cloth or something right now. But you really just want to let that adhere onto that. All right, so we're gonna do the big one now. Same deal. If you want the border, this one has a border on it. I don't know why I printed it with a border, but whatever. If you wanted the border to transfer over to, of course you would put glue onto it. If you just wanted the picture part, you could cut that border off. I'm gonna use the border. Crappy brush over to the side. Set this over to the side. Look for where your marks are. There's a mark, there's a mark, and a mark. So I'm going to flip this upside down, and I'm going to set this on there where it looks like I'm near the marks. It's pretty good. Okay, so remember, you're going to push this onto the board. You're going to try to not push the glue out. The glue is what's going to transfer the image onto the board. All right, so here's the hard part, ladies and gentlemen. Walk away for 24 hours. Don't touch it until tomorrow. You need a full 24 hours for this to completely harden on there. All right, so I hate to say it, but you're done for now. All right, I'll check back tomorrow with you. Okay, so these have sat here for about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more than 24 hours. And what you're gonna need now is just a little bit of water in a dish. We're gonna try the small one first. But basically you need to soak this entire paper, okay? So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to get just a small brush, I guess a big brush like this, and I'm going to wet the entire area. So you want to wet it until it starts to seep into the paper, all right? So you need to get it really, really wet. I'm going to do the other big one while I'm thinking about this. So let's just get the paper on here. All right. And you'll see this paper is, it's real photo paper, so it's a little waxy. And this water is just meant to start to lift the paper off here a little bit, okay? Set that aside. We'll do the small one first. But anyways, you'll see it's kind of waxy and it's not really, you know, the water's not really soaking into it. Set that aside for a second. So what you want to try to do is grab the edge of the picture and it just pulls right off like that. So that did not work. All right, so that's a fail. And then this one does not really work either. Okay, so that's a garbage idea. And you see there's a plastic film on this, so yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, onwards and upwards. Does not work. Garbage. Okay, so what we had here is a couple of experiments that have gone wrong. You can see on here, this is a little bit glossy, and this is a little bit glossy. So what I discovered is colored photos today have this plastic cover on the outside of them. So that's why most of this didn't transfer over. It was just the stuff on the plastic cover that really transferred over. So we're not going to be able to use that. We'll chuck that in the garbage. We are going to be able to use the other side of this. And I got a new wood panel from the dollar store. So we're going to put this little picture right here onto this box, onto the side that hasn't been screwed up. And we're going to put this 8x10 onto here, all right? And this is just a regular color photocopy on 8.5 by 11 bond paper. I shouldn't say it's a photocopy, it's a print that I did from my HP color printer. So it's a laser jet copy. All right, so we're gonna give this a try. Same deal as before. We're gonna lay this down on the stuff that we want to those little pieces of paper. We're gonna do the small one first. So what I have here is just a regular flat watercolor brush. Don't use one of your best watercolor brushes, would be my best advice. I also have some water for rinsing this out and my weld bond glue. And so I'm just gonna cover this whole thing with the weld bond glue. And then I'm just gonna take my brush, I'm gonna wet it a little bit, and it's gonna move the glue so that the glue, there should be enough glue that you can barely see the photo. All right, that's how I generally think of it. You see how the photo is pretty blurry there now? That's how you know you have enough. And then cover all the edges, but really only cover the parts that you want to transfer. If you don't want it all to transfer, don't cover it all. All right, now I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to bend it a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to put the middle on first. You're only going to get one shot at this. And then I'm just going to touch it. I'm not going to roll it. I'm not going to try to push the glue out. Remember, the glue is the medium that's allowing the color to transfer from the paper onto the wood. So you don't want to push the glue out. You want to just make sure it has some good contact like that all the way around. There's no big air bubbles in it, nothing like that. That's pretty good. Now we're going to set this aside. All right, we're going to do the big one. Wood panel. Get your wood panel and line this up where you want to be. Okay, make a little bend in the middle like this. I want it to be about there, and then let one side down and just smooth it out. Remember, you're trying to push the air bubbles out of this, but you're not trying to push any of the glue out around the edges. And then just gently let the other side come down and touch. And you're not pushing the glue out, you're just trying to make contact with the wood. I thought I would shoot a quick little video. This is about an hour into the drying process, so you can start to see the color has come right through the paper. I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours and these have been just sitting here in my studio. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wet these. I'm gonna get out a big flat brush. This is just some clear water. Actually, all this extra paper, you can just grab that and tear it off all the way around. That. All right, just tear the paper right off, because this is what we're going to be wetting to try to get off from the board. All right, so take all that paper, throw it right in the garbage. Same with this little one, but we'll do that in a minute. So all the rest of this, we're going to wet, and we're going to severely wet it. Like, we're not going to put a little dab of water on it. We're going to make sure that it is completely soaked all the way through. And then you want to leave it for a few minutes, okay, so that the water has a chance to penetrate all the way through to the board. But make sure it's really, really wet. We're going to do the same with this one. So I have a little end of the paper here, and I'm just going to grab that wherever I can grab that paper and tear the paper right off. It'll save you a lot of scrubbing if you can get some of the paper off right now. All right, and we're going to throw that right in the garbage. And the same thing for this one. Just going to put a lot of water on it. So remember, unlike the one that failed us previously, which was actual photographic paper, this is just 8.5 by 11 bond paper. So get it really wet. We're going to just set that over to the side. And this right here, you're just going to start scrubbing. You're trying to get the paper off and leave the color photo behind, and you'll see that's coming off pretty good. Probably shaking the hell out of the camera, but that's all right. So you're going to get little piles of muck like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick that little pile of muck up with your fingers, throw it into your garbage can, and then you're going to get your brush full of water again, and you're going to re-wet that to take off the next layer. And you can see this is already turning out way better than the first time that we did it. All right, so okay, so I took these into the house and I ran it under the water and got all the last little bits of paper off of it. And same with this one. Ran it under the water, got all the last little bits of paper off it. And you can see this turned out, I mean, it's super, super clean and crisp. You can see the trees in the background, the railway crossing sign, all the letters and numbers. Of course, everything is flipped backwards. But it still could be a really interesting project if you thought about taking something like this and taking a whole bunch of photos from a trip that you went somewhere and then just kind of collage them all on here. I think it would be a super interesting project. Anyway, so that's how you do a color photo transfer. Super easy, super cheap. If you learned anything from this, I please hope that you give me a thumbs up. And if you're currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next time. So, kapow! We're done that.